Hi, and welcome to what will probably be the last of these videos for my buggy racing in Thailand. I should start off by giving you a post-mortem for what happened in the final. I qualified 6th in the Semi-B, which was pretty good for me. I was really pleased with that. Only actually managed to do one qualifying run because I had a bearing explode in the rear gearbox, which is the first time that's ever happened to me. So I was really pleased to make it straight into the Semi-B. In the warm-up for the Semi-B, I was suffering from a severe loss of power and was struggling to make some of the jumps, and I got the top engine tuning guy from the PRC track to take a look at the car for me, and we tried everything. He felt the clutch might be a little bit light, so it was biting too soon. I changed that, made no difference. We went up and down with the mixture screws and we just couldn't get it any better. So it was, well, you know what, I've got to run what I've got. So went out, made a pretty good start. I think I was probably about 4th on track, coming up to the first fuel stops, and I had a cut. So the car was retrieved, refueled, sent out again. But unfortunately the guy who was pitting for me, he wouldn't have known enough English for me to say turn up the idle screw slightly, which probably would have been all that the car needed. But anyway, so I went back out and it cut again, and then I went back out and it cut again. Cut 5 times in total, at which point I thought, you know what, I'm not going to make the A main at this rate, what's the point? So I retired the car. Packed all my stuff up, threw it all in the hire car and went back to the hotel. Left the race meeting before it even finished. Don't like doing that, but I put so much time and effort into actually getting to that race, and I'd qualified so well and the car was so good. To have it let me down like that on the actual race itself was just unbelievably bad. So I felt gutted. Didn't look at the car for about 3 or 4 days, then decided one night, okay, let's strip the motor down and have a look inside and see if we can see anything. So I stripped it down, and once I'd cleaned it, I was surprised to find that there was actually no visible damage at all. My other motor had seized using the Maxima fuel, and I thought that I might find some kind of similar damage or scoring or something inside. But inside it was spotlessly clean, but once cleaned you could push the piston straight up through the liner at the top, so there was zero compression. Now when I came out here, that motor had done about 4 litres of fuel, a gallon. So for an over Aussie, that's nicely running, but it's still got peak compression, and it should have been absolutely the way to go. But something had happened to cause all that compression to go. It just had no guts in it at all. Now it would be nice to be able to blame the Maxima fuel, but in reality there's loads of guys over here running it and they have no issues with it at all. So then you've got to look at, well, what else could it be? So could it be the change in fuels? Now back in England I've used different fuels in the past. I've swapped occasionally from Byron to Piranha, and I've used Racing Experience, and I can't say I've ever noticed a huge difference. But the Maxima fuel did burn with a very white smoke, whereas the Piranha I normally use runs with a blue smoke. So I'm guessing that the Maxima uses a different lubricant, leading me to believe that it was actually the change in fuels that caused something to happen. I can't explain it. I'm sure someone with a lot more knowledge than me could probably say, oh yeah, it's happened because of this, this and this. But essentially, the swapping fuels has just stripped the engine of any kind of lubrication, and it's just worn it out. The piston is unmarked, the liner is unmarked. It just passes straight up to the top. So if I were to come out here and race again and couldn't source my own preferred fuel, I think what I would do is I would come out here with a brand new box fresh motor and run it in on the fuel that I intend to use when I'm out here. And you've almost kind of got to think that if you came back the other way and took that engine back home, running it on the fuel in England would also do the same thing. So you've almost got to think to yourself, if I'm going to race abroad and you can't get the fuel that you want to run, it's going to cost you a motor. You have to leave it behind with one of the young kids out wherever you're racing that can't afford a motor, or something like that. So I think I've learnt a valuable lesson, because of course all the top guys, when they come out here, they have their fuel sent out. The local supplier brings something out. Out here the 3 popular fuels are Maxima, which I believe it's a Thai company, so it's very popular, Cosmo, which I've used out here before, and Rapicon, which is the one that I'm using at the moment. I've used Rapicon and Cosmo with no issues, but when I first got here at the new RC track, Maximus, what they sell, so that's what I used. So definitely saying I'm not blaming the fuel. I think it's an issue of swapping fuels that's caused the issue. So anyway, I'm back at the PRC track today to just use the last bit of fuel I've got up, and Robin, that's now taken over control of the PRC track, has done a load more work since I was here last. I think it's probably been about 10 days since I was here, and they've done a huge amount of work out here, don't get me wrong, but there were still parts of the track that were difficult to drive, and I'm not a top driver by any stretch of the imagination, so for me there were parts of the track that were difficult to get through without consistently spinning the car or what have you. At last Sunday's race at New RC, he said to me, we've done loads more work to the track, it's looking a lot better, we've tidied up the faces of a lot of jumps. So I thought, hey, you know what, I'm going to come back, I'm home in a few days, so I'm just going to run the car on the track as it is now. I'll do another quick track walk so you can maybe see from my first track walk here to today the huge amount of work that they've done. It is looking loads better than when I was here the other day, so take my hat off to them, they're working really hard out here. Anyway, I'm going to change the setup on the car back to what it was the last time I was here. I'm going to run some laps, do a track walk, and then I'm going to pack my bags up and then I'll be home. So I hope you've enjoyed watching all these videos, and I will see you at the track. happened there? Well, that's me done for the day now. This is my last visit to PRC or the Buggy track on this holiday. I've just managed to do about 3 tanks, go around the track without me marshalling once, so I'd say I've finally learnt the track. It's still that very challenging PRC track that everybody knows, although it's a different layout, but they don't build easy tracks out here, which is pretty good. So I'm going to turn the camera around now, just take you through the pits and give you another quick track walk. I mean, the layout is the same, but it's just a quick clip just to show you how much work has been done in the last week and how serious the guys are out here about getting this place back up and running again. So I'll turn the camera around and show you a bit more. Right, okay, well I'm here on a Sunday. Obviously it's not a race day, but it's nice to see quite a few guys here in the pits practicing. They've done a big clean up since I was here last. Like I said, this was about 10 days ago. Guy in the purple shirt there, he's the resident engine tuner, and he's been here for a long time, so this guy really knows his stuff. The guy in the white t-shirt, the blonde hair, that's Robin. He's the guy that's now currently running the place. A couple of the local guys, then doing some practice and setup work. So, let's get out in the blazing hot sun and just another quick track walk and show you what they've done since. So I won't go around the whole track because they've not made a huge amount of changes, but on that's the straight, the main straight, which has this very fast sweeping right hand corner. At the top up here they have dressed the tops of the jumps. When you came around here previously, where it was all blown out, you'd come around here once and the car would go over lovely. Next time round you'd be twisting in the air and I just haven't got the reactions to pull the thing back quick enough. But as you can see, they've dressed the fronts of the jumps lovely, and the landing area. This area up here was pretty rough before, but they've done a load of work here. Robin was telling me that the problem they have at this track is that the ground isn't actually soil, it's more like the beach. So it's prone to breaking up really, really quickly. Now, they did this work about a week ago. See this section through here, now it's lovely. This bit here before was just like driving on beach sand. It was incredibly loose. As you came over those two jumps there, and over the second two, when you hit this, what I would call a yump in rally terms, and landed, you just landed on loose stuff like marbles, and it was a nightmare. This is much nicer through here now. Anyone coming out here, that corner there comes up on you much quicker than you think. The amount of times I've seen people clip that today is nobody's business. So yeah, this bit over here it's all been compacted and dressed, and it's 1,000 times better than it was. Robin was telling me this morning that tomorrow they're going to oil the track as they used to do before, which will bring it back to its proper form of glory. So any loose stuff that's on the surface even now will be gone. So the track came down here. Have I missed a bit? No, I haven't. Sorry, got confused myself there for a second. Again, the face of this jump coming up here now was very blown out on one side, and if you were racing, you'd probably want to be hitting the jump in the middle and cutting across and landing right on the apex. And this side of the jump was completely blown out before, so you had to go wide. I just couldn't get the car across quick enough, so I ended up landing in the loose stuff every single time. Now I can actually come across that jump now, and within about a 2-foot radius I can land right here where I need to. So my laps all of a sudden got a lot cleaner. I guess on a race day it would have been the same for everybody, but I just don't deal with the problems as good as other people can. In front of this jump, it's like a billiard table now, it's looking cracking. Again, this one here has been cleaned and dressed, and this is the other takeoff, and the front of that jump, that actually is Neo quality. It's pretty damn good. So yeah, they've done some cracking work here. Coming up through here, this was already pretty good. It was quite hardened from the previous applications of oil. The front of this next jump here was quite blown out before, and it threw you all over the place. Again, it's super clean now. It's a bit loose on that back corner there still, but if you get that right, you're tight on the apex anyway, so it's not an issue. These through here weren't too bad, and they're quite slow anyway. And I would come across from the apex, do the first double landing in the middle, and then come across again and jump the last two on the apex, which I can do reliably now, which I couldn't do before. So that's fantastic. The front of that one has had some work done. The front of the second one and the top has had a load of work done to it. The next bit is almost like concrete, mega grip, and I'm still oversteering as hell through that sweeping left-hand corner up there. Then the next double is super easy up there, which drops you down to this, what I now know to be a triple double. So there's a load of work done. They've been around with the white paint, cleaned up all the fences. They've done a load of work here really. On the UK track there's a couple of weeks work here, but they've got plenty of hands to get it done. So the track is looking once again fantastic. I'm mega impressed with what Robin's done, and if anyone's ever thinking about coming out here on holiday and bringing their buggy, I can highly recommend it. This is just out of town, so it's not too difficult to get to from the centre of Pattaya. I can get here in about 10-15 minutes on a not bad day. Make no bones about it, this is still the difficult PRC track it always was. They don't build easy tracks out here, I don't think, at PRC. So it's kind of like this is the ultimate, the degree of difficulty, etc, etc. So yeah, cracking job that they've done. Highly recommend it. I'm really pleased to see that someone's taking it on. So this is me signing off. Catch you guys all sometime in the future.